Hi students, I welcome to all of you to this session of fluid mechanics. Dear students, today we will be discussing about the kinematics of flow. You know that the last class we have discussed the concept of buoyancy and buoyant force and buoyancy and flotation, and lot of problem has been solved. And if you are having any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section, and please submit the assignment which is given to you. Very few student you have submitted the assignment, so please submit the assignment. And today we are going to discuss a new chapter, that is your, it is also coming under the that is your fluid module 2. It is coming under module 2, that is your kinematics of fluid flow. Okay, so before coming to the discussion, let us see, you can see this is my YouTube channel DMS Study Center. You can access my that means all my lecture in this YouTube channel. This is a link for PDF or notes. You can join this Telegram channel DMS Study Center official, and there is a group GK by Dheeraj sir. Okay, here in the Telegram you can join here, or this is my Facebook page. You can connect me and submit the assignment in this email ID, and also this is my phone number, and I am Dheeraj Mondal, Assistant Professor, JS College of Engineering. Today we are going to discuss about the fluid kinematics. So you know that last class we discussed about the fluid static. There are mainly three type of fluid, fluid static, fluid kinematics, fluid dynamics. So let us start. Now basically, what is fluid kinematics of flow? Basically, kinematics is defined as that branch of science which deals with the motion of particles without considering the forces causing the motion. So here we are going to study the that means we are going to deal with the motion of the particles without considering the force causing the motion. That means if this is a body and the body is in motion, now what is the cause of that particular motion? That means by the help of some force the body is moving. You I am applying some F amount of force so that the body is moving, na? So we are just analyzing the motion of the body, but we are not considering that we by the help of which force, by the help of which phenomena the body is in motion. Okay, basically the velocity at any point of a flow field at any time is studied in this branch of the fluid mechanics. So we will be talking about the velocity, we will be talking about the acceleration, we will be talking about the density, all will be discussed without considering the force causing that particular motion. Okay, so the fluid characteristic, these are the fluid characteristic: velocity, density, viscosity, kinematic viscosity, your acceleration. Okay, these are the characteristic features of fluid, and we will be analyzing these characteristics of fluid without causing the force causing the motion. Okay, without considering the force causing the motion. I think it is clear. Once the velocity is known, the pressure distribution and hence the forces acting on the fluid can be determined. In this chapter, method of determining velocity and acceleration are discussed. Okay, so what we will be discussing, method of determining velocity and acceleration will be discussed in this chapter. Clear? Now there are mainly, what I have told you, method of describing motion. Okay, so method of describing fluid motion. What are the method? Basically the fluid motion is described by two methods. One is your Lagrangian method, number one is your Lagrangian method, and number 2 is your Eulerian method. Okay, Lagrangian method and Eulerian method. There are two types of method by the help of we can describe the fluid motion. Okay, what do you mean by Eulerian method? First of all, let us discuss the Lagrangian method. In Lagrangian method, a single fluid particle is followed during its motion, and its velocity, acceleration, density, etc. are described. What I have told, in case of Lagrangian method, a single fluid particle is followed during its motion. Means if it is a fluid particle, now this fluid particle, it may come here, it may come here, it may come here, it may come here if it is flowing. So if I am just applying, that means a streamline is drawn here. Now a single fluid particle is followed during its motion, and its velocity, acceleration, density, pressure, okay, etc. are described at a point of flow. Okay, so I think it is clear what is happening. We are just following a single fluid particle during the motion, and its velocity, acceleration, density we are describing. That is your, and by the help of the Lagrangian method we can describe like this. But in case of Eulerian method, the velocity, acceleration, pressure, density, etc. are described at a point in flow field. The Eulerian method is commonly used in the fluid mechanics. Basically, what do you mean by Eulerian method? Here basically this is a single place. Now from this place a lot of fluid is flowing. Okay, so with respect to this place, numerous fluid particle is flowing. Now in case of Eulerian method, the velocity, acceleration, pressure, density are described at a point. In this point, what is the velocity? In this point, what is the pressure? What is that? In this point, what is the density? And all this will be discussed. So remember, number 1 is your Lagrangian method, and this is your Eulerian method. Now what happened? In case of Lagrangian method, what was happening? Let us consider that a fluid is flowing from point A to point B to point C to point D. Okay. Now let us consider at 6 a.m. the fluid particle is here. This is your 7 a.m., 8 a.m. and this is your 10 a.m. Now in this point, that means when the time is 6 a.m., then what is the pressure, velocity, what is the density will be determined here. When and that means in the time when it is your 7 o'clock, then what will be the pressure, what will be the velocity, what will be the acceleration of that particular fluid, that will be determined here at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, like this. So in different time frame we are describing the fluid particle when it is traveling from one point to another point. But in case of Eulerian method, what we are doing, when this is a space or a place from this place. Okay, that means in this 12 o'clock later you have to determine that the fluid which are flowing from this point, then the velocity, acceleration, pressure, density, all these will be discussed. All these will be analyzed here, and that is your, because of that means that is called your Eulerian method. I think it is clear. Now there are basically types of flow. What is the type? That means the fluid flow is classified into mainly 6 types. Number 1 is your steady flow and unsteady flow. Number 2 is your uniform flow. and non-uniform flow. Number 3 is your laminar flow and turbulent flow. Okay, you can see here steady flow, unsteady flow, uniform flow, non-uniform flow, laminar flow, turbulent flow. Then number 4 is your compressible flow, incompressible flow. Number 5 is your number 5 is your rotational flow, irrotational flow. Okay, so number 6 your one dimensional flow, two dimensional flow, three dimensional flow, like this. So there are mainly 6 type of flow: steady flow, unsteady flow, uniform flow, non-uniform flow, laminar and turbulent flow, compressible and incompressible flow, rotational and irrotational flow, and one dimensional, two dimensional, three dimensional flow. So let us discuss one by one. What do you mean by steady flow? See, when the fluid is flowing, then which type of flow, that you have to know. Now, in case of steady flow, the steady flow is defined as the type of flow in which the fluid characteristic like velocity, pressure, density, etc. at a point do not change with time. Once more, a steady flow is that type of flow in which fluid characteristic, you know, the fluid characteristic is your V, fluid characteristic is your P, fluid characteristic is your density rho. So that fluid characteristic like velocity, pressure, density, etc. at a point do not change with time. That means del V by del T at x equal to 0, y is equal to 0, z is equal to 0 is equal to 0. That means it is not going to change with time. Similarly, del P by del T is equal to 0, del rho by del T is equal to 0. Okay, so it is your steady flow. If it is not equal to 0, that means del V by del T is not equal to 0, then it will be called, or del P by del T is not equal to 0, or del rho by del T is not equal to 0, then it will be called unsteady flow. Clear? Now what is the, that means it is not change, that means steady flow is does not depend upon time. That means what is the practical application? That means what we can say, that this is your different time frame. Let us consider this is your 12 o'clock, 1 pm, 2 pm, 3 pm, 4 pm, like this. Now when the fluid is flowing from this point and through this streamline at 12 pm, 1 pm, 2 pm, 3 pm, 4 pm, we will see that it is not depending upon the time, velocity, pressure, density, and all these fluid characteristic, it is unchanged, remain unchanged. Okay, so this is all about the steady flow. But in case of unsteady flow, in 12 o'clock you will see some different velocity, in 1 pm, in 2 pm, in 3 pm, in 4 pm you will see different velocity. Clear? Now come to the next point, that is your uniform flow. Uniform flow basically is that type of flow which is basically does not depend on the space. Okay, uniform flow is defined as that type of flow in which the velocity at any given time does not change with respect to space. What do you mean by with respect to space? That means your length of the direction of the flow. And mathematically we can say that del V by del S, where S is what? This is your distance. With respect to this distance, the fluid characteristic is not changing. Okay, that means here basically it is not changing with respect to space. In point A and point B, in between there is, let us consider 1 kilometer distance. So if it is traveling from point A to point B, it is not going to change. The velocity or fluid characteristic is not going to change. Okay, that means at a given time does not change with space. Okay, so del V by del S is equal to 0. In case of non-uniform flow, it is not equal to 0. That means it will be changing with respect to time. With respect to space. Clear? Now, non-uniform flow also it is discussed here. You can see. Now, let us talk about the laminar flow. What do you mean by laminar flow? Very important for your exam point of view, and from laminar and turbulent flow you must see one question. So basically the laminar flow is defined as that type of flow in which the fluid particle along well defined path or streamline, and all the streamlines are straight and parallel. All the streamlines are straight and parallel. Thus the particle moves in laminar or layer gliding smoothly over another adjacent layer. This type of flow is called streamline flow or viscous flow. So the laminar flow, if you want to understand the laminar flow, let us consider this is a streamline. Now you will see that the water is flowing and we are considering there are number of layer between the laminar between this flow. Okay, now one layer of the fluid is gliding over another adjacent layer, and one streamline is parallel to another streamline, and we are just assuming the fluid is flowing very smoothly, okay, without any disturbance. So this type of flow, when it will be occurring, then it will be called laminar flow. Okay, that means the fluid particle moves along a well defined path or streamline, and all the streamline are straight and parallel. Thus the particle moves in laminas or layers gliding smoothly over another adjacent layer. That is why the particle is moving smoothly, and this flow is called your laminar flow. And because of this laminar flow is desirable everywhere. Because why because the laminar flow, if it is laminar flow, then the frictional dissipation or energy loss will be less, isn't it? So that is why the laminar flow is desirable. But what do you mean by turbulent flow? A turbulent flow is that type of flow in which the fluid particle moves in a zigzag way. The full fluid particle moves in a zigzag way like this. Okay, it is moving with a zigzag way. Okay, that means smoothly it is not moving like this. Okay, due to the movement of fluid particle in a zigzag way, the eddies formation takes place, which are responsible for high energy loss. When the fluid particle is moving in this zigzag way, you can see like this. Okay, if it is flowing like this. Okay, so due to that movement of the fluid particle in zigzag way, the eddies formation, eddy current loss you have gone through. Eddies formation takes place, and which is responsible for high energy loss. The friction will be for a pipe. The type of flow is determined by a non-dimensional number, rho v d by mu. That is your Reynolds number. It is called your Reynolds number. You know that what happened when the fluid is flowing a zigzag way, then there is some collision between one layer of the fluid into another adjacent layer, and because of the collision the frictional dissipation will appear, and frictional dissipation means one kind of energy loss. So you will experience that when the layer fluid is flowing from one point to another point, let us consider this is your 1000 kilometer, the fluid is flowing. So we will see that because of that friction, the pressure or intensity of pressure inside the fluid will be reduced, and you will see that if it is turbulent flow, then it will not able to reach its original position. Your desire, whatever I want to say, that it is a point, it is your B point. Now you will see that it will stay somewhere in between A and B, because there is not any kind of friction, pressure force inside the fluid, so that it will not come to its destination. So because of the turbulent flow, this type of phenomena is occurring. Why? Because there is some frictional dissipation, frictional loss, and due to this frictional loss, the pressure energy is decreased. Okay, so this is one kind of problem. And one also, you will see, if you want to measure the temperature, if you want to measure the temperature of a particular point, this point and this point, you will see the temperature T2 and T1. T2 is very greater than T1, and you will, if you want to measure the temperature, then you will see that P1, this is your P1, this is your P2. You will see that P1 is very greater than P2. Okay, so the pressure loss, due to this pressure loss, the heat formation will be occurred. Okay, so what happened, you will see that if it is your oil, then I can say that the ignition point of petrol and diesel, you can see the, if it is diesel, then it may be 600 degrees centigrade. So when it is, the temperature is rising, there will be some temperature inside the fluid, let us consider 600 degrees centigrade. Now the ignition point means the temperature at which the fuel or particular fuel is fuel starts burning. Okay, so that is your called ignition temperature. So you will see that there will be some breakdown, or you can see that some in the pipe, you can see the combustion is taking place, and lot of phenomena will occur. Okay, so because of this turbulent flow, this type of accident may occur, so that this turbulent flow is not desirable anywhere. So how we can calculate, how we can say that this type of flow, this is the flow which is basically turbulent in nature. So basically, by the help of Reynolds number, we can say that whether your flow is your Reynolds, your turbulent or laminar. So the Reynolds number is basically the ratio of inertia to viscous force. So inertia to viscous force is the ratio of the inertia to viscous force, and inertia force is mass into acceleration along x-axis, and viscous force, tau a du by dy. So if you are just simplifying this equation, you will see that the Reynolds number is equal to rho v d by mu. What is rho? Density of the liquid. What is v? Velocity of the liquid. What is d? Diameter of the pipe. Sometime you will see it is your L, that is your length of the length of the plate, you can see. So the d, it is your d na. Now the length of the plate with respect to rho vl by mu at that time. Mu is the dynamic viscosity. Okay, and d is the diameter of the pipe. V is the mean velocity of the flow, and nu also, that nu is equal to mu by rho. So we can write Reynolds number is equal to Vd by nu. Nu is the kinetic viscosity. Now, if this Reynolds number, it is one kind of non-dimensional number. If this Reynolds number is less than 2000, then it will be called laminar flow. Laminar flow. If the Reynolds number is lying between 4000 to 2000, then it will be called transition state. If the Reynolds number is greater than 4000, then it will be called turbulent flow. Clear? So in case of turbulent flow, some zigzag wave will be formed. Okay, in the lab there is a dedicated lab in Reynolds apparatus. So we will be discussing when the lab will be going on. Okay, so you will see that by the help of potassium permanganate, a small smooth streamline can be maintained, and if it is if there is some that means if I am increasing the velocity of the fluid flow, then you will see the turbulent flow will occur. So this is all about the laminar and turbulent flow. I hope it is clear. Now let us discuss about the compressible and incompressible flow. What do you mean by compressible flow? Compressible flow is that type of flow in which the density of the fluid changes from point to point, or in other words, the density rho is not constant for the fluid. Thus the mathematically we can say the rho is not equal to constant. In case of compressible incompressible flow, the rho is in case of incompressible flow, the rho is equal to constant, but in case of compressible flow, the rho is not constant. Incompressible flow means it cannot be compressed. The flow is that, in the incompressible flow is that type of flow in which the density is constant for the fluid flow. Liquid are generally incompressible. Then water is the incompressible flow. Well, gas is a compressible flow. Okay. So this is all about the compressible and incompressible flow. Why it is needed? Because we can assume that according to the compressibility, which type of flow, which type of liquid it is, and all this we can analyze. Okay. Now next is your rotational and irrotational flow. Rotational and irrotational. What do you mean by rotational flow? Rotational flow is that type of flow in which the fluid particles, while flowing along a streamline, also rotate about their own axis. Again, rotational flow means when the fluid is flowing, it is also rotating with respect to its own axis. Rotational flow is that type of flow in which the fluid particle, while flowing along streamline the fluid is flowing, also it is rotating with their own axis. Okay? So it is called your rotational flow. And if the fluid particle, while flowing along streamline, do not rotate about their own axis, that type of flow is called irrotational flow. If it is not rotating with respect to its own axis, then it will be called irrotational flow. You know why this rotational is occurring? Let us consider this is a fluid particle, and when there is some, this is, let us consider this is a fluid surface, okay, plate, and the fluid particle in this plate. Okay, now what happened, will be some shear stress will be generated because of the viscosity. You know that this part shear force will be occur here, and here in this phase there will be some frictional, that means frictional force. So this is one kind of force will be acting in this phase. So you know that when this phase is acting rightward, this phase is acting leftward, so what will happen? With respect to its own axis, the body will rotate like this and it will move forward. Okay, so this is because of the, you will be going through this part when you will be discussing about the boundary layer theory. Okay, boundary layer theory, you will see that like this. So when the fluid is coming into contact, then the u infinity will not be existing here. Basically velocity will be reduced, and you will see this type of boundary layer will be created here. And outside this boundary layer, what the fluid we are getting, that is your irrotational flow. That means it will not going to rotate with respect to its own axis, because there is not any kind of shear stress. So here basically you can say the ideal nature of the fluid you will experience here, but here the fluid is rotating. So in under this boundary layer, the rotational components or the rotational flow will occur, but out of the boundary layer the rotational flow will not be occurred. Okay, so I think it is clear what is rotational flow, what is irrotational flow. Now let us talk about the one dimensional, two dimensional and three dimensional flow. One dimensional, two dimensional and three dimensional. One dimensional flow is that type of flow in which the flow parameter such as velocity is a function of time and one space coordinate only, say x. Basically, if I am talking about the velocity component u along x axis, then it can be written as u is equal to function of x and v is equal to 0, w is equal to 0. This is because for one dimensional flow. Okay, for a steady one dimensional flow, the velocity of a function of one space coordinate, that means your one space coordinate only, the variation of velocity in other two mutually perpendicular direction is assumed negligible. Hence mathematically this equation we can write. Okay, so only one coordinate we have taken, x coordinate, and we are analyzing the fluid velocity, fluid acceleration, fluid density and all these. Okay, but in case of two dimensional flow, in case of two dimensional flow, a two dimensional flow is that type of flow in which the velocity is a function of time and two rectangular space coordinate. Here basically velocity is a function of time, and two rectangular space coordinate, say x and y. Two space coordinate will be taken for steady flow. For steady two-dimensional flow, the velocity is a function of two space coordinate only. The variation of velocity in the third direction is negligible. You know that. Then mathematically what we can write? You can write that u is equal to function of x, y, and v is equal to function of x, y, and w is equal to 0. This is all about the two-dimensional flow. Now next is your three-dimensional flow. Three-dimensional flow is that type of flow in which the velocity is a function of time and three mutually perpendicular direction. Basically it is applicable everywhere. Okay, velocity is a function of time and three mutually perpendicular direction. But for a steady three-dimensional flow, the fluid parameter are function of three space coordinate x, y, z. Mathematically what you can write? U is equal to function of x, y, z, t, v is equal to function of x, y, z, t, w is equal to function of x, y, z, t. So this is all about the three-dimensional flow. We will be discussing the derivation of fluid in three-dimensional flow afterward. So before coming to the discussion, let us discuss about the Rate of flow or discharge. What do you mean by rate of flow or discharge? Basically, rate of flow or discharge is defined as the quantity of fluid flowing per second through a section of pipe or a channel. Okay, so if I am talking about it is denoted by disq and it is your volume flow rate, amount of water flowing per unit time, that is your discharge. And what is the unit? Meter cube per second. Clear? So this is all about the flow, rate of flow or discharge. So I hope it is clear. Now today up to this is your kinematics of fluid flow class number 1. Okay, next class we will be discussing about the three-dimensional flow, path line, streamline, streak line, timeline, steam tube, continuity equation will be discussed. Then continuity equation for three-dimensional flow also will be discussed. Okay, so today up to this. Next class we will be discussing the rest of the thing. This is what I have discussed, that is your assignment. Solve it in your home and submit to me, to my and this is your exam assignment 1 and question number 1 and 2, it is your assignment. And problem number no, numerical is not given to you. Okay, this is your assignment. Question number 1 and 2 also your assignment, and whatever I discussed the theory class, that is also your assignment. Okay, submit to it to my official mail. Okay, so this is my official mail, dhiraj.mondal@jscollege.ac.in. Submit the assignment to here. Okay, thank you for listening. Jai Hind.